Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To some, and peace out to the rest of you. You know who it is, who it ain't. I'm just going to go straight to it, hit the share button. So, first half of my message is going to be about faith. And I do mean specifically Islam. What I want to point out to you all is that in underneath my video about the African butt whooping on the Arab in Ohio, apparently, I wanted to point out that one of my commentators and subscribers, shout out to him, Assalamu alaikum, brother. His name is Upon Divine Guidance and Order. Posted the link, and it took days for me to be able to see it, let alone make it visible to you all. Now, I could see that he posted it, but I could only see it on one app that I use to access the YouTube account. I couldn't even see it if I logged on to it on my laptop. It wouldn't show up. Because if I could see it there, I would have been able to approve and pin it. When I approved it, actually, on the laptop, first time I saw it, I could never see it again. So I used the app, and I couldn't see it on the app for a while. But then, you know, the point I'm making is YouTube was playing games. Because the video to which he posted a link shows a man named Muhammad Sharif, African-American imam, talking to a talk show host, also an African-American, dispelling the misconceptions because he did the actual study. And there's a good bit of information in there. And another source is Abdullah Hakim Quick for good information. But let me tell you what the information is that I want to highlight for you, for your benefit. The bits of information that he put in there, one I want to highlight for your benefit is this. See, there was a case where Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, actually did single out an African king in the way that he addressed him. Now, we are paranoid. So if I tell you that somebody singled out any of us, you are either going to disbelieve me, and in this case, you would then accuse me of blasphemy, because I'm talking in a religious context, or you would believe me, and then you would start to swear at whoever it was, which in this case would mean that you would then insult the prophet, peace be on him. But I said he singled him out. I didn't tell you how. Now I'm telling you he singled him out in a positive manner. See, he wrote letters to the Persian emperor and to the Roman emperor inviting them to Islam, but he was militant. He talked tough. He said, if you don't accept it, you're going to lose twice. When he wrote to the Abyssinian emperor, he talked diplomatically, kindly, friendly. And some would say, well, he just felt indebted because his people took refuge in Abyssinia, and that was the first migration. It's more like he saw several things, but he already said, see, before that first migration, he told his people it's best to go to Abyssinia because there is a kind and just king. So actually, his understanding of that emperor's kindness and justness preceded the migration, which was actually why he advised it in the first place. And then it was proven and demonstrated when his people were given refuge and were allowed to stay for the longest. And here's another thing. You see, there were actually some people, some elements of Abyssinian society that took insult at the king giving them refuge. And they said, no, they're heretics, and we're going to fight the king and overthrow him and send them back to Mecca. This actually did happen. And there was a time for maybe a few weeks where they had to wait on a boat. Offshore, I think it was, while the king put down the rebellion and kept them safe. Now, that's not something that's talked about in that video. That's something I learned in another class. But what I'm getting at is that when Muhammad ﷺ wrote to this Abyssinian emperor, he wrote with diplomacy and niceness. And he acknowledged the sovereignty by saying, I invite you and I invite your army and your government and such and such. He listed the elements of the government that made them sovereign. I invite you all to Islam for your success, and if you accept it, you will win twice. Now think about it. If your dad or mother says to you, if you don't clean this room up, I'm going to kick your behind. That has a particular sound to it. Now think about the difference if they say, if you clean this room up, you get a reward, you can go out and play, and you don't have any punishment waiting on you. Now, which one is more of a motivation to clean up your room? You see? Now, if you're just a belligerent butthole, you have to be told, if you don't clean it up, I'm going to beat your butt. But let's say that you're a kid that's generally good, and they need you to clean it up. Which one works better? The one that we rarely use, but that's also the more positive one. If you do right, you win twice. And that's how he addressed the Abyssinian emperor. It was not out of fear. This is one time in which we were singled out in a good way. You don't hear about that, though. So I wanted to highlight that. And that being said, now that we've got that highlighted, we can move on to the next topic. Now, in the next topic, I recorded something about lowering the libido so that Western misandrists can't utilize it against you, because that's what they want to do. And this has been proven, actually. The consciousness with which many of them do this is being proven by someone named Zahia Nadal on Twitter. She said men are there to be used, and she justifies it and says that's it. You can go to my community tab and you see where I shared the image of that. Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews also shared it, and I just reshared it. That's the case. That's what she said, that we're just there to be used. We're only utilities. So I recorded something about lowering the libido so that it can't be weaponized against you, because right now they see that as something to use. Well, it was Sigma the Prince that came in the comments, and I didn't have time to use his, I didn't have permission to use his name before, but he gave me permission later on. He was the one that came in under the comments and said, look, I know about this, but I'm going to tell you what it's doing. Something else is happening, and it's causing men to come and try me. So now, not only are the women not trying to get at me, but men are. And I knew that this was a phenomenon, so what I did was I recorded about that phenomenon. So when I recorded regarding that phenomenon, that was when I recorded the one entitled "When the Booty Bandits Notice You and the Women Don't." I recorded that, and then he subsequently came on in the comments and said, it's okay, you can use my name, it's fine. That's him. He was the one that brought it up. I knew it existed before. He brought it to my attention. I realized I wasn't the only one that had thought about what about this, and so I went ahead and recorded. Specific to that. Now, what I wanted to tell you is that underneath that video, a few have actually come in and commented. Janadrian Bertrand or Bertard, I'm trying to remember the last name, sorry, Sigma the Prince, have reported being approached by either masculine acting women or men that were interested in not only men, but interested in men that were not interested in other men. In other words, men that were interested in straight men, looking to prey on those who women were not interested in. And then there have been some others that have said, actually, I'm more melanated. And, of course, Lion MGTOW pointed out that they ain't trying him like this because he's also 6'4" and athletic. And there was another one that said, man, I'm almost 60. And one of them rolled up in the caddy trying to give me some money for some. Like, what? And then there was someone else that said, I'm getting, he's more abundantly melanated, but he's being approached by the ones that are already expecting, or they act like men. And he wanted to know what that's about. And you know what? Honestly, man, to the one that asked that question, I'm still thinking about what's causing that. In your case, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I guess I would have to know more about you to understand what's causing it, but I know that you should be insulted, because when they come at you like this, they know that they're masculine acting, or that they're already expecting to deliver. They know this. And I would be insulted if they have to be one of those two ways in order to come at you. I'd be insulted because what they're doing is they're saying, well, there's something about you that's inferior, so they're going to bring you the inferior product that they know that they've turned themselves into. But as for what's causing it, I don't know. What I can say is this. Gentlemen, when you find that these are the cases, that these are the options, and you're getting approached by them, the men, the women that act like them, and the ones that are already expecting, do be careful. And I say be careful because, see, I'll tell you to lower your own libido so that they can't weaponize it against you. I'll tell you that in a heartbeat. But when you find yourself being approached by exactly what you don't want and that which is distasteful, that's altogether different, because, see, then what's going to happen is that they're going to turn you off. And you may find that your libido's lowered permanently. So when you finally have saved up enough and you've made a move and you're now out of the West, and you find that good cooperative when, and y'all have tied the knot and y'all are finally alone together as a married couple, that's when that may be the time you discover that you can't stand that attention, because you've been completely and repeatedly turned off before. It would not be your fault. It would not be hers either. It would be the fault of those that are not even in the same country that you would be in at that point, let alone in that room with you all during the honeymoon. You don't want that. That is a possibility. I don't know how likely it is. The thing is, I don't want any of you to find out firsthand how likely it is or how easily that can happen. It almost happened to me, but it didn't. It didn't get that bad. Well, I was permanently disabled from performing, but I won't lie. It can be difficult, and it's not the fault of anybody that's around. Nobody around me has done anything wrong. The ones that caused that are still back in the States. God knows where they are now, if they're even dead or alive. I don't care. Point is, I guess if it had happened for longer and more intensely, I could have been telling you a completely different recording right now. I'd rather nobody find out firsthand about that. So I will tell you to lower the libido nutritionally, dietarily, things like that. But see, it's your hand on the off switch. I do not want somebody else constantly flicking the off switch again and again and again and again, to the point that now you can't flip the switch up. All puns intended. I don't want that. I don't want that for you. I want you to have the option. The whole point is that it is your lever. The switch, the off and on button is in your hand. That's the whole point. That being said, you will have to focus on avoiding the situations in which you find that you're most likely to be approached by them and hit up. And I'm not going to lie to you. When I think about it, that's exactly what the hell happened to me too. High school, manly acting lady. Now, I thought she was just, I thought she just wanted to be friends and homies. And so I was like, yeah, cool, man. Friends, that's fine. Then one day she begged me to be a boyfriend. I thought she was joking. Realized she was dead serious. And my friend happened to hear, he said, nigga, if you go with her, I'm going to shoot you. I told him, bro, you won't have to shoot me for that. If you shoot me, it's going to be for something else. But that was a case. There was another case. Let's call her Diana. She, manly, right? Begged me one time, be a boyfriend. In high school. I couldn't believe it. Then there was another case. No, actually, it was two other cases where they were kind of mannish looking. They weren't mean, but they were more mannish looking, and they wanted to get at me, and I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. I'm not that dude. And then, oh my God, 2003, I was already Muslim by this point. There was this lady hitting me up. I worked with her. She was already a mom. And Bees. She hit me up and asked me what I was going to be doing that weekend and if I was dating anybody. And I said, well, I told her I do have plans this weekend, but I said to her, see, by that point I was Muslim. I said to her, about me dating someone, I am discussing marriage with a Muslim lady, but I thought that you had heard that I become Muslim. It's what you're thinking of in terms of dating is not how we do it. I'm just explaining it so you understand. She said, oh, okay, well, I thought you might be free this weekend. So what I wanted to ask my colleague, who was a Muslim from Iran, named Muhammad, Mo, bruh, why did she hit me up like that? Everybody in the office knows I became Muslim. I didn't hide it. He was like, she probably thought that, you ain't, now you Muslim, you ain't getting none. So you take her up on it. And I was like, so why does she just all of a sudden develop this interest in me? And he told me, because she's pregnant. And the rumor is it's your friend's baby, your married friend's baby. That's the rumor, but I don't think that's the case, because there's another rumor that he just ate her out and he didn't actually hit that. So you see, this is what went on. When I felt back to it, I was like, what, the times I've been approached the most blatantly, yeah, that's what it's been. Dudes, same thing, expecting and manly. So these things, again, are matching up. There's this consistency between what I'm reporting and then the feedback and what I've actually experienced. So I'm going to say this from experience. You do have to identify the scenarios in which it's most likely to happen and avoid them. Definitely. Because what ain't going to happen is that, the ones that are cooperative and know how to act and look and have some kind of options hit you up. They would. That's not going to happen. I mean, they hitting up somebody. It just ain't going to be you. I mean, it's not always going to be because of something wrong with you. It's just what are the odds? It's set up that way. We were born into the situation. We didn't create it. But I'm letting you know, when you're likely to be approached with all the offers you don't want, yeah, you're going to have to be careful and know those situations so that you can sidestep them and avoid them. Because if it happens too many times, that overexposure it'll do something to you. So focus more so on your talent or your skill that you can use to go elsewhere. Focus more so on that. You'll need it. So you can speed up and accelerate your departure, your Blaxodus. Because I'm going to tell you straight, you got to protect your sanity. And that is a threat to your sanity. Everything you don't want being, just walking up to you, hey, and everything that you do, always got 1,000,001 excuses and all these walls and defenses that you're not allowed to have to protect yourself. So I could sit up and tell you for days how stupid it is, but identify those situations and avoid them. And in the meantime, I hope that one day this recording of mine will not be necessary and relevant anymore, but until that day comes, I hope it helps. Thanks for listening. May this benefit you. Assalamu alaikum.